Hi there, Scott here. Coming from the beautiful warehouse in Stuttgart, Germany, where I work, in the back corner here, where I was hoping and am still hoping not to be disturbed. I'm laughing because technology and I, we have a very interesting relationship, and this is like take number 4. Everything keeps going wrong here, but as many of you know, I have been known to push the river. And I really want to get this video done for you, Ben. And so I'm going to keep giving my computer every opportunity to get this one video made. Okay? So maybe this will be the magic take. Who's to say? Anyway, as you can kind of tell, I'm making this video primarily for Ben. Thanks for the challenge, Ben. I admire Ben a lot. Never met Ben in person, but Ben Leroy, who, and by the way, I don't know why the French is there. I love it. And for some odd reason, when I saw his video, I was surprised because he doesn't have a British accent. Why would I think a guy named Ben Leroy would have a British accent? I don't know. But, anyway, Ben put this challenge out to get as many people as possible to put a video up online about why they've chosen the vegan lifestyle. Yeah? And not only to honor Ben and what he stands for and what he's doing. Keep it up, man. I also thought it was a good idea because, as many of you who know me already know, when certain topics are brought up, war, political corruption, conservative religious dogma, and animal rights, to name just 4 of them, I can quickly kind of come across as a flamethrower. And I've been working on my inner James Aspie, and it's not coming out when injustice comes up. I just don't have a lot of patience for apologists of cruelty, or injustice, or slavery, or racism, or homophobia, or, the big ones, right? I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on it. Getting better, baby steps. Nah. It's just not who I happen to be. So I thought this video, as a secondary benefit, would provide people who might want to ask me or be wanting to ask me about my vegan journey. And it really actually was a journey for me. It doesn't have to be, but for me it was. Then they would be able to look at the video and wouldn't be like, scared and stuff of, having Scott get all upset. I'm not mean when I'm upset, okay? Don't get that view of me, alright? But, let's just say, when it comes to justice and, right and wrong, for lack of a better term, causing pain unnecessarily, corruption, and that kind of stuff, I can come across kind of tough sometimes. Like I say, I'm working on it. But the video should help, you see? This video should help. So, let's begin, shall we? Let's see, I guess for me, it was kind of a tale of like 3 connections. I was going to use the word awakening, but awakening kind of implies that it's something new that I learned, when actually, at least when it comes to veganism, or animal rights, or however you want to coin it, respecting animals appropriately, however you want to, whatever phrase you want to use. It's really more of a connection. It's reconnecting with what we've always known. Right? You take 1 million babies, you put them in 1 million different rooms, and in each room you got a rabbit and an apple. Every single time when the baby gets hungry, it's going to reach for the apple. Well, I shouldn't say baby, I should say toddler, right? That's just the way it is, all right? And if the baby does happen to reach for the rabbit, that's a problem, okay? That's not a healthy baby or a healthy toddler. Probably want to take it to some toddler psychologist, though of course there is no such thing, right? There is no toddler psychologist, really. Which says a lot, right? We need to kind of get back to some of the basic stuff we always knew, right? Be decent, be kind, be respectful. To all sentient beings. That's what this is about. So anyway, that's why I call it connections, right? And this first connection for me was kind of a process. I've always been kind of a truth seeker kind of guy, and for a long time, I've been really interested in this weird disconnect between the animals that we eat and the animals that it's not just that we don't eat, but the animals where it's like considered morally repulsive to eat, right? So, you know, we're eating steak and hamburger, right? But if a horse is abused and killed, oh my God, you know. Or even, of course, even on a more grave scale, dolphins, or chimpanzees, or gorillas, or whales. Well, what I was told are higher life forms, right? And that's why we can't dare eat those, because that is gross, right? I mean that's why people are up in arms about Tai Chi, the dolphin slaughter, and the whale hunts for the crazy Japanese scientists. Please cut it out already, okay? Stop killing the whales. We all get that, right? That's just wrong, okay? Because they're higher mammals. Now, so I started thinking about that. This must have been 15, 20 years ago when I really started thinking about it. I started thinking, okay, it must have to do with intelligence. So I start doing my research on intelligence, right? And I realized pretty quickly, because it's just incontrovertible science, that pigs are smarter than dogs. Okay? That was just a slam dunk, no debate about it. Pigs are as aware as dogs. They are smarter than dogs. They have just as much, if not more, personality than dogs. And I sure as heck ain't going to be eating any dog. You know, I love my dog. All the dogs I've had in my life. Love them dearly. As many of you can relate to this, right? Who would ever eat their dog? That's just insane. Even if I was starving, I would never have eaten my dog. I would have rather died than eat my dog. Okay? We all get this. Most of us, anyway, watching this video will get this. But a pig, according to the higher mammal standard, was even higher than a dog. So pig was immediate for me off the menu. That was it. It was over. Right? No more pig. Just whoosh, gone. So then I start reading about the cows, and I realize cows are really not substantially dumber than pigs. Certainly not substantially dumber than horses. So cows were off the menu. And so for a long time thereafter, I was just a chicken and fish guy. There's no term for that. Like there's pescatarian. It's a cool comic. Pescatarian just means a snazzy word for telling people the animals you're willing to murder. But anyway, I was a chicken and fish guy, right? And then in 2002, on my birthday, I remember this quite vividly, a girlfriend was visiting the small farm my folks had, and she had brought her dog. We had brought her dog over to rescue it, ironically, because it was having a tough time here in Germany, so we flew the dog over. And the dog got a hold of one of our chickens and killed it. And my folks were gone at the time, and I thought, well, you can't waste the chicken, so we'll pluck I still go grossed out talking about this and thinking about it. But we will, of course, pluck the feathers, and we won't waste it. We'll eat it instead of burying it, right? Still, just hadn't made the connection that this was an actual sentient being that had just died, right? It was just a chicken, right? And then I touched it, and it was warm. It was warm. Of course it was warm, Scott. Now, I know at this point you're thinking, this guy must be an absolute moron. I'm really not a moron, okay? I'm really not that dumb. But I actually believed, somehow, subconsciously, that chickens were cold. Subconsciously, anyway. Like they were in the grocery store. They're packed up nice and cold in the grocery store. Why would they be warm? You know? And so then that was a huge connection. I was like, holy, whatever. I don't want to offend anybody. I have taken up cursing like a sailor. I'll stop again. But I'm not going to curse for this video, okay? Even though the topic inspires me to curse quite a bit. When I'm alone, I won't offend anybody. So there, the chicken was off the list. That was 2002, and I became a pescatarian, right? And then in 2004, I started my experiment with truth. Long story short, I became a peace pilgrim in 2005. If anybody wants to know what that actually means, just www.peacepilgrim.org. There was a woman who I still admire greatly to this day, and I was doing experiments with truth. You know, how far can you push the boundaries of kindness? How far can you push the boundaries of gratitude and generosity? You know, what is virtue? And I was making myself, you know, the subject of these experiments with goodness, virtue, for lack of a better term, right? And stumbled across this book by the Peace Pilgrim, and was still eating fish at the time, mostly vegetables, but also fish, and read in her book, they asked her why she was a vegetarian. And she had said, well, because I don't want to kill anything myself, and I'm sure not going to ask anybody else to kill it for me. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. And so went vegetarian on the spot, and there was no more fish. Then it, of course, went ahead and did some research and realized that fish are also sentient. And the more I read on that, the more I was a little embarrassed about that. Oh, that's what all that flopping around in the boat is about, right? When you pull it into the boat, when you pull the fish into the boat, it's flopping around and gasping, right? Oh, that's what all that's about. It actually is in pain. How embarrassing. I'm really sorry, fish. I mean, it is, to think about it in retrospect, it is embarrassing. But I can't go back in time and change it, so it is what it is. So fast forward to, now that was 2005. I became vegetarian. And a proud vegetarian, okay, because I thought that was the greatest thing ever, right? I'm not causing any animal harm, right? And because I really didn't think I was. I didn't know about the dairy industry and the egg industry and how horrible they were. I had no idea. I mean, I should have known. I didn't know. So you fast forward 8 years later to 2013, May of 2013, and I'm at an Ultimate Frisbee tournament, and in the evening we all go out to dinner together to a Chinese buffet. And I'm proudly at the table as the only vegetarian eating vegetarian, and people are asking me, so Scott, why are you vegetarian? And I'm very smugly answering, well, I don't really want to, I refuse to cause harm to animals. Then I'm just better than all of you. I wasn't really thinking that, but that's kind of the tone. You know, we were having a kind exchange about vegetarianism and why that was the way to go. Oh, unbelievable. And the guy next to me, Alex, who I just met at this tournament, super nice guy, fantastic player too, by the way. He says to me at the dinner table, you do know, don't you, that cheese is made using rennet, which is taken from the stomach linings of murdered baby calves. And you can imagine how that didn't sit very well. I was addicted to my cheese like anybody else. Like, literally. Research it. You literally are addicted to cheese. If you're eating cheese, you are literally addicted. Okay? Look it up. It's insane. It's like small hits of cocaine with every bite. It's nuts. So then he shows me on his magic smartphone. I still don't have one. I still think they're magic. He shows me on his magic phone that it's true. And so that's when I really started, I was blown away. Blown away. So I went home, and for pretty much 2 weeks straight, just research, and found out about the egg industry, and found out about the dairy industry, and that was it. Pretty much days after talking to him, I went almost vegan. Meaning I convinced myself conveniently that goats weren't abused. Because I was addicted to cheese, man. I was addicted, okay? And I was living off the stuff, right? And so I switched to goat cheese for, I think it was 2 weeks. Maybe less, maybe 10 days. And then I realized that was just a cop-out. That was insane. So 10 days after this conversation with Alex, I went vegan, which was my second big connection, right? The first big one was, you know, basic sentience with the Peace Pilgrim. Then came just the learning of the horrors, the inexcusable and completely unnecessary horrors of the dairy, the animal agriculture industry as a whole. So I went vegan. Right, that was June 16th, 2013. Yay! 4 years, best 4 years of my life so far. So now we come to the present day, right, and what I have to say about that to everybody else. And I'm going to take a little different tact, and I'll wrap it up here. I love these videos. There have been several posted already on Ben's page, and I like them because every one of them is really different. It brings up a different area of focus that totally jives with me that I just hadn't thought of. And I'm like, wow, that's totally it. And I watch the next video, I'm like, wow, that's totally it. And this video is going to be different because I'm going to talk about something that I haven't heard from anybody else yet, and it might freak some of you out. But the reason why I am now taking the next step, which is activism, is because I believe we should fight evil. And the animal agriculture industry is evil. It's evil incarnate. Now, before you freak out and say, whoa, Scott, how can you say such a thing? I'm not evil. I'm not saying you're evil, okay? If you consume dairy and or eat meat or eggs. I'm not saying you're evil. You are supporting evil You are funding evil, and you are choosing to do evil things. You are not evil, otherwise I would not be making this video, right? You are good. You know better. And, but how can you say it's evil, Scott? That's too much. That's way over the top. Actually, it's not, right? Let's just think about it for a second, real simply, and I'll try to wrap this up. My goal was under 20 minutes. I think I can make it. Evil, one of the best definitions of evil I've ever heard is intentionally causing another being to suffer for personal enjoyment. You think about that for a second. That's a fantastic definition of evil. And I think anybody in their right moral mind, if they weren't actually talking about this topic where they're already getting a little defensive, don't need to get defensive. Pull yourself back in. Keep the ears open. Keep the heart open. Anyone who's coming from a neutral place will say that's an excellent definition of evil. Intentionally causing others to suffer for personal enjoyment. And that's animal agriculture. That's non-veganism. Because it's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond any debate, that animals suffer immensely. They are sentient and they suffer immensely when they are confined. They suffer immensely when they are abused and mutilated, dehorned, tails docked, teeth cut out, testicles ripped off without anesthesia. They suffer immensely when they are artificially inseminated, aka tied to a rape rack and forcibly sexually penetrated to make babies. They suffer immensely when their babies are taken from them, and they suffer immensely when they are murdered in their youth. They're all really just children when they're murdered. They all just live a fraction of their normal lifespans, okay? That's suffering. They suffer. Anybody who says anything different, seriously, get some help, okay? That's just undeniable truth. Then comes the point that many say, well, we have to eat them, and that's not true. Not only is every vegan on the planet living proof that you don't, the science is showing you live longer and healthier, far healthier, a little bit longer, but far healthier if you live on a 100% plant-based diet, if you sustain yourself only from plants and plant derivatives. There's no debating that anymore, okay? That's just a fact. So the only reason left for any of you non-vegans out there to give for not going vegan is personal pleasure. And A plus B plus C equals evil, okay? And you don't need to support evil. It is an evil that is causing such horrific suffering to so many animals every day, thousands every second, all over the world, all of it needless. It's destroying your own health and the health of those you love the most, right? And it's destroying the entire planet, right? I really don't want humanity to die out. I actually think humans have a lot of potential to do a lot of good. But the way we're behaving right now, it would be better for the whole universe if we did die out. And the Earth is about to oblige. The sixth mass extinction is on its way, and the primary cause of it is animal agriculture. Again, it's the fact. Okay? And so that's what I'm here to close with, is that choosing to go vegan is a huge step, because what that means is you're not a part of the problem anymore. At least you're not making things worse. But at the same time, just being vegan means you're not really making things better either. We need vegan activists. I don't care how you become an activist. You can chalk sidewalks, you can graffiti buildings, you can sticker meat packages in grocery stores, you can do DXE and have direct interventions in restaurants, you can have die-ins on the street, you can do Anonymous for the Voiceless, who are doing fantastic work, you can do witnessing and vigils, Toronto, Pig Save, and all the beautiful vigils done at slaughterhouses. And of course, if you really want to do all of that plus some bonus work, you can do the ALF and actually get out there in the nighttime and get on the front lines, and without hurting any animals or any humans, start tearing down, start burning this thing down, start burning the animal agriculture industry down, tearing it up, breaking it up, freeing animals. Right off the spot. They deserve to be free. They have every much as right to be free as you or I do, and they certainly have every much as a right to not be tortured and murdered in their youth. There's no debating that. So, I didn't use my notes. Hope I didn't forget anything. Feel pretty good about it. I just crossed the 20-minute barrier. So I almost made it, Ben. But I'm a long-winded guy. This could have gone on for hours, brother. So I hope this is okay. And now I just hope it actually recorded. And I hope I can actually get it uploaded to the web. The adventure continues, Scott and technology. Anyway, great love to all of you out there, non-vegans and vegans alike. And for all you vegan activists out there, God bless you. You are heroes, and what little humanity is going to be left in 100, 200 years is going to remember you as such. So thank you so much, and keep fighting the good fight. All right? Take care, you guys.